Hey folks, hope you're doing good today. Now I'm running late again. I'm no stranger to sleep deprivation and chronic insomnia. I can deal with that no problem. The last 3 days I haven't basically slept at all. And man, that's starting to hurt. Jesus. So what I've lined up today is some dark, crusty, doomy post-metal, and these two bands that we're going to check out today pretty much sound like I feel inside at the moment is pretty much how I'm going to put it. We've got two new bands to the channel to check out. The reason we're only checking out two bands is because these bands have got super long ass tracks, 10.5 minutes and 12.5 minutes, so they're going to fill out the video more than enough with just the two tracks. The first band we're going to check out says here that they're a two-piece playing dark, crusty post-metal with ecological awareness out of Marseille, France. Very cool. Let's get them on the screen. This is Monastr. The track is A New Beginning. Let's give it a spin. That's what I want to hear. Sounds dope. Little bends are nice. That is a fat guitar tone.
Have a look at this curve here.
Cool.
This is called the Z curve, and it represents pollution. Now, predictably enough, as the population increases up to 1980, pollution increases. There's more rubbish. But from 1980 to the year 2020, pollution really takes off. So the year 2020, the condition of the planet starts to become highly critical. And if we don't do anything about it, this is what's going to happen. Quality of life is going to go right back to practically zero. Pollution is going to become so serious that it will start to kill people. So the population will diminish. Less than it was in the year 1900. And at this stage, around about the year 2040, 2050, civilized life as we know it on this planet will cease to exist.
Man, I really, really enjoyed this. This was just the kind of stuff I wanted to hear today. Super nice. Really enjoyed everything about it. The sound was great. The guitar tone was super thick and heavy, but also had a fuzzy atmospheric edge to it as well. And there was some, wailing stuff in there as well, which was nice. Really cool. Great riffs as well. None of it kind of seemed like, some of these doomy riffs and sludgy stuff, because they're so slow and, slow moving stuff. Some of the riffs can feel a bit played out, but I thought these sounded all really nice. I like the type bendy bits in some of the riffs as well. That always sounds dope. But yeah, moved through the track nicely. There was just one section that I thought didn't transition quite as nice from one section to the next. It was kind of midway through. There was a chuggy section, and then the drums kind of it stopped. The guitar stopped, and then the drums kind of did a bit. And then it kind of just forced itself into the next section. That was the only bit I thought didn't work quite as nicely. I really liked it when it dropped into the sampled section with the, talking about global warming and stuff like that. I love those kind of sections in this kind of music, using a sample. I think it just brings in a real vibe to this kind of music and atmosphere, and whatever they're talking about, doesn't matter what it is, but in this case, ecological stuff, because that's the vibe behind the band as well. It brought that whole vibe to the track as well. So yeah, really, really cool. I would even say do more of that. Would have been cool to maybe have that towards the intro as well, so that it sets the track up in that way, so that this is an ecological vibe track, and it brings an emotion to the music, because the context of what it's all about. So yeah, really, really enjoyed that. The drumming in this was kind of really what made it a super nice track. The guitars were sick and heavy and fat. But if the drummer had just kept to standard beats and not done all the spicy stuff he did, and fill in and, cool stuff on the cymbals and all of that, I think it would have dragged on as a track. But because the drummer was so nice, and the drums sounded so nice, and the cymbals were so washy, and you could just kind of clatter around with the cymbal hits, it really made the track interesting all the way through. There was always something cool going on within the drums, and because they sounded so nice, it just filled out the mix in a great way, especially with the cymbal sound as well. So yeah, I really, really enjoyed it. And I was just thinking to myself, these guys are only a two-piece, and I could imagine them. I wish they'd done a video of them playing. I always wish bands would do that. It was a cool video in its own way, but I wish we'd been able to see this band, because I could just imagine them. I'd love to see the drummer whacking his big ass cymbals and all of that. And I was imagining myself being at a gig with this kind of music, being in the crowd, shoegazing, just with your head down, and just really feeling the thickness of the sound in the room. Dope. Very, very cool band. We're checking them out. Although these two bands that we're checking out today, because their tracks are so long, these are the kind of bands you've got to dedicate a whole show to. The next band we're going to check out are from Leeds in the UK. They're Leeds post-metal, it says here. The band is called 100 Year Old Man. The track is called Livyatan. Let's give these guys a spin. This one's 13 minutes, so get yourself comfy. Nasty. Great sound. These guys sound great. Jesus. Man, I just feel so comfy right now and just chilled after listening to this track. I got so into that one. Just absolutely lost in it, daydreaming. Forgot I was doing the show and all the rest of it. Man, that was just so great. These guys have absolutely nailed, and this is the first time I've checked these guys out, the post-metal sound, with keeping up with the atmospheric edge of it as well. Man, they just killed it so hard with being heavy, thick, sludgy and distorted, but also the whole time having a slow, uplifting, atmospheric, synthy, just softer side to it as well. And it balanced out the whole way through. Man, they just worked that so nicely in this track. It wasn't just like heaviness with a bit of atmosphere plonked on top. It was all cohesive and melded together and kind of swelling in and out and taking the front. And man, these guys know what they're doing in terms of making the music and the composition and the sound and the vibe that they're going for. Absolutely nailed it. It just sounded like perfect, absolutely right. The drums sounded amazing as well. And I loved it when the female vocal came in, because I wasn't really expecting that from all the kind of blackened heaviness that we had, that the dude had. And he really works his vocal nicely, working with the riffs, going deep and low and then bringing it up high and moving in between the two. Really, really nice. But the female vocal and the atmospheric vocal there when it came in was just the cherry on top. It was just really, really nice. Man, these guys are just absolutely killer. And when you rock up with a 13-minute track, you've got to come with something nice, because otherwise no one is going to get to the end of your track ever. But man, this one sucked you in, started out nice and heavy and sludgy, and then when it broke into that more softer side, I was just like, wow, these guys are absolutely quality, because it just sounded so great. Super nice. Now, I have actually got one kind of pretty major complaint about these guys. And I did actually get lost in my head thinking about this whilst I was in the track, and I ended up daydreaming that I was speaking to the drummer in this band, and I don't know what he looks like, but I had a picture of him in my head. If I was in this band, or if I knew these guys and I could speak to them personally, and I'm going to take the liberty of doing that in this video, I don't know if they'll even end up watching it, but if you watch this channel, you know I'm really passionate about drummers and what drummers can do for bands. And whenever a sick drummer comes through on this channel, which is pretty much every day, because I always try and get sick drummers on the channel, I always remark about it and what they do for the music and everything else. And I've already done that today in today's vid with Monastr, and talked about how the spiciness of the drums just kept the whole track interesting, and kind of as a two-piece band was really a big part of the music. Super nice. I feel kind of the drummer in this band has let me down a little bit, because he had a super nice tone. The snare had a pop and a slap, and it cut through the mix in a great way. Again, the cymbals are nice and washy like they should be. But the actual drumming was really basic. And it wasn't till probably, 11 minutes into the track that we even heard the toms for the first time. And toms in this kind of music, and rattling down the toms, getting them all reverby, and that it's such a big part of the sound. And it was really lacking from the music. I was like, man, when's this dude going to do a fill? When's this dude going to do something spicy on the drums? And I must admit, I was kind of a bit annoyed halfway through the track, and I was daydreaming that if we was in a jam session, and I was telling him, dude, you got to spice these drums up. You can't just keep it as a real basic beat all the way through. I was thinking there's so many cool things that the drummer could be doing to move from one section to the next, even just like dooga 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 bam. That just makes you drop into the next section so nicely, and there was really none of that at all. It was just cymbal, bass drum and snare, for like, I don't know, it must have been 8 minutes of the track till we got into that chilled out section where he dropped out. So I would say to this guy, I'm probably overstepping the mark with saying it kind of this much, but I'm really passionate about drumming, and I really feel that the drummer in this band could elevate what they've already got. It's really amazing, but he could just take this so much further with doing cool stuff on the drums, spicing it up, working the sections, doing rolls, working the toms more and things like that. So yeah, I kind of wish the drummer had done more in this band, because they're a 10 out of 10 band, but they could be an 11 out of 10 band if the drummer did more shit on his drums, is really what I would sum that one up as, because he just didn't really do anything. It was quite annoying to me. So there you go. I'll probably overstep the mark with these guys. I'm going to check them out again on the channel, even if they hate me now, because I've kind of had a go at their drummer, but I feel passionately about this. These guys are absolutely incredible. But the drumming wasn't incredible to match the rest of the band and the quality of the music. And it could have easily been as well. Really, just had to do more stuff and more interesting stuff on the drums, because they sounded amazing. So there you go. I hope you've enjoyed that today. I hope you've stuck around. Man, we've made it to 33 minutes. I knew we're obviously going to be kind of 25 minutes today, because that's how long the tracks were going to be. But yeah, I can't help talking a lot about this kind of music, because this is the kind of music that hits me like a ton of bricks. I think it's probably the most kind of perfect sounding music you can listen to. It's got everything, the heaviness, the atmosphere, the emotion, the movement through the tracks, and the journey that it takes you on. The sound is just incredible. You get absolutely lost in it and daydream away with it. So yeah, just amazing music. There you go. Hope you've enjoyed that today, guys. We'll see you around tomorrow. Cheers. Bye.